Hello and welcome. It is Lynn Oliver speaking to you with Link Solutions, and today I'm going to give a presentation on Wild Apricot and the directory which is used for membership management for your organization for Virginia professional communicators. And in the previous two webinars, we've talked about newsletters and events, and both of those rely heavily on the fact that we have a directory which has the membership list which is available to everybody to see. The place, sorry, the order that I would like to present this in today, this agenda, is pretty casual actually, because we're going to be just dive into the directory and look at membership management and also contact management. Both are included in the database, and then we'll look at the various membership levels that are available, and the Wild Apricot directory listing is available here. And I'd also like to show you where you can go and request a new password if you ever do need one. So at the bottom of this web page, vapc.org, is where you can, /join VPC, is where you can actually see the 3 membership levels listed here. And once a person has selected their membership level, they can click next to step through the process and complete their information. And that eventually will give them the opportunity to submit all of their information, and then they will a notification will be sent to the administrator for the system, which is currently Gale. And the power in having a database is really very, very valuable, and you'll be able to see once we look at the back end of the database at Wild Apricot. But right now I'm just wanted to briefly show you through this PDF file, which will be uploaded and available with the webinar replay. At the very bottom of that same web page, the Join VAPC, there is a place right down at the bottom to click on Forgot Password. And that's just a handy thing if you ever want to log in and update your profile. That's where you could come down to request a new password. And as usual, I've included some resources which will be helpful in the future, perhaps, for contact management and membership management. There's also a glossary of terms, because that's a useful to understand the terminology that goes on within the Wild Apricot system, and also a check for browser compatibility, so that you can see that the browser that you're using on your own computer is actually compatible. And so that's what I had for my handout. I'm going to change screens and go to, bear with me, change screens and go to the actual Wild Apricot back end. So here we go. Okay. So I need to log out and log back in again. It just seems to like this to be refreshed, which I suppose you could say is good from a security standpoint. If you happen to go away from your machine and come back in, it wants you to be logged in correctly. So here we are on the page that I just mentioned. That address is vapc.org join VPC, which is available here. And it's way down at the bottom of that page that you can find the membership details that I talked about, and also, I'm currently logged in here as Gail, and this is where you would be able to see your actual profile. And so that's where you would find that information. And if you were not currently logged in, that is also where you would see that forgot password link. I just wanted to mention that is where you can find it. So I'm going to go into admin view. And when you come into Wild Apricot, the very first thing as an administrator that would be visible on the dashboard is to show activity that's happened recently. So it shows, how many members are in the system, how many contacts. Every person that's in the system or in Wild Apricot does have a contact record, but not everybody is a member. So you can see the total contacts is 181 and the number of members is 107. And that's why that number is different, because some of the contacts might be prospects, for example, whereas the members are the folks who are actual members and have a membership level. And you can see at the bottom here, you can see the various times for logins for members, and it also shows status of the web pages that have been updated. Now, in your case, Wild Apricot is being used mostly for membership management, and you are embedding the widget code so that little snippets of code go into your web pages, the WordPress website, and then pull over the information from Wild Apricot. So we're going to spend most of our time today in this members area. And when you click on members, it will bring up the list of that we just saw, where you can see the 107 members. And it gives you an overview of how many are in each category. So we have 82 professional members, for example, and 4 students retired. Also, so if I click on this 107, that's essentially going to bring me a list of everybody, and it's ordered alphabetically. And this is currently showing me the first 50 records, ending in A to John, Andy to John. And then we can click on the drop down arrow to see the other opportunities. We can go 51 to 100, and then the balance, the remaining number we would see on the third screen. The other way that you could access this list of all the members is by clicking on this list. So both ways work for you to actually come in here. And if you were looking for a specific person, let's say Bonnie, for example, then it would show you the people, members in the system with the name Bonnie. So it's very easy to find who you're looking for. It's not necessary to scroll through all the pages, but there are times then you might like to see the status of your membership. So for example, you can see in this column the membership level, and then in this one here you can see the status or the renewal dates due. So that's, as an administrator, it's useful to be able to just scan through the list. It really depends on the task that you're trying to accomplish when you come into the system as to which way you might like to view the information. You can also export this to an Excel document, so the entire membership list could be exported. You can also email members, and we can also archive members. So as memberships expire or lapse, the records can be archived, and then that way your total number of current people in the system will not be used against your Wild Apricot allocation. So back to summary again, back to summary. We said we have 107 members, and I said there were 4 students. Now this morning I created this member new, just so that we could play with this today, and I wasn't going to be touching anybody else's record, so didn't have to make anything that Gail might need to go in and fix. So at the end of our session today, I'll just delete this record. So when I clicked on the member's name, it opened up their record right in the membership tab here. So if I had, there's many different ways to access the records, and this is bringing me right to the location where I can see that this is a student, active member since today's date. Renewal is due on January 1. All memberships are due on January 1. And if I wanted to change this, I could edit, and this will put me into the mode where I can actually change. If we have a student and then they want to upgrade to professional, perhaps that is something that could happen. It would be literally as easy as just clicking on professional. If it was someone, a member that we recognized had maybe moved or to a different location, or lots of reasons, you could move them to any one of these sections here or these categories. So lapsed is available, and you can change this to lapsed here, and then just click on save. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to keep this as a current member in case we have any questions and we want to look at it. But that's really as simple as it is. The thing to do is always remember to save. If you don't save, then it would be necessary to come back and choose that again. But that's really how you would change that information. You can also see as I scroll lower down on the page here that the profile, you likely, anybody that is currently a member, which these webinars are designed for members, you may have already seen these fields that are available, these fields of information that you can put in your own business information, home information, um, and complete this so that your profile is complete. So I'm actually going to just cancel from here so that I keep, and it's great that it gives me this prompt because it recognizes that I've made changes. And it's going to remind me that I'm going to lose those changes, which is okay for me at this point because I want to keep this as an active student for now. Now, again, going back to last week, if you remember, we had events and we could see which events various people had attended. And this is useful if you can project forward, 2, 3, 5 years from now. You might want to just have a look and see how many people have participated in events. And it's just a really easy place where you would be able to come down here and see the list of events that a member had participated in. So we can, and here's the archive button that I mentioned earlier, that we can archive this so that this record is not a live record, again, being used, using up sort of the allocation that Wild Apricot gives to your membership level. So back to members again. If I click on members, it will always put me in this summary view. But you can see across here, there's lots of options of working with this. So list is going to bring me back to that view that we saw, the alphabetical listing, where you can see everybody is in here. And if I wanted to look at Marianne's record, for example, it would just be as simple as clicking on that. And you can go through and see contact details and all of the information that's specific to each category there going across the page. If I click back, go back to the list again, and look at the top of the screen, you have the opportunity to use saved searches. And this could be something that is useful if you have a larger system. This would be a much more important feature, I think, because you have 107 members, and probably it would be a lot different if you're managing 10,000 members, for example, where you might want saved searches of people in a specific city, specific industry. There's lots of different ways that you can pull out that information so that it's useful when you come to do a newsletter or a mailing of any kind. So we can also click on here to customize the layout, and I'm not going to make sort of changes here because this is the system that Gail has been working with, but essentially it's just giving you the opportunity to create reports in the way that's useful for the way you want to manage the information. So in some cases, you might rather have the company name first, or the last name first, or the first name first. So this is just giving you an opportunity to change the way the results are presented to you. Levels speaks to the membership levels, and these are customized for your organization for VPC. And you can see in here, these look familiar as far as we have the professional level, the retired and student levels here, and you can see the fees down here. And across to groups, it is possible to have, as Gail has here, board members is one group. It could be potentially another group, which perhaps could be the event management team, or it could be created on an as needed basis. So if there's a specific project that's being worked on, you could create a group here. And this really is just a time saver so that you can easily see the folks who are in the group, and it's a quick way to be able to broadcast emails to that group. If you've got a group of 12 people, for example, and you want to just bring them together for a specific project, that could easily be done in here, where you can have a new group and then add members to it. The membership fields, these are the fields that can be customized based on the level. And there are a lot of fields which are already built into the system. So in this case, it's telling me that based on our settings, the following common fields will be used. So the things like user ID, which is system driven, first name, last name, profile photo, business address, home address, what have you. So, but if you wanted to add any new fields, this is where you could come and do that. So we've already got these two additional fields which have been added. If we click on the add new field, then this dialog box opens up and we can give it a new field name here. So let's call this testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And close that. Then you can see that the field is here. Now, if I want to move it, I can actually drag this by moving it up and down like so. And I'm actually not going to save this. I'm going to cancel out of it. But within this field, there's lots of opportunities for customization about whether or not it's a required field, whether the member has access to see it as read-only or if it's in their own profile, and which member levels it will be used in. The default is to show it's being used in all levels, but this could be a level that we only wanted for our professional members, for example. And so it would only be visible to those people who are taking that professional membership. But as I said, I'm going to cancel from this because I don't want to make any changes to the database. And I'm going to go back to members. And we were making our way across the top here, and we were last on membership fields, and that's where we could see. Now this is something that usually is set up at the beginning of starting to use Wild Apricot, and obviously this has already been done because we're looking at some customization with group participation and district, as well as using the built-in fields that come with the database. So this is something which captures your own organization and the types of information that are required for the way that you're going to function, and the information that's important to capture. So I hope that is clear. Certainly if you have any questions, please let me know. Discounts I don't believe is applicable in this case, based on the type of organization that you are. But if a coupon was required, it would just be added up here. Privacy, this is controlling how the profiles of members are visible. And first thing would be to get access to the directory. In your case, it's a little different because of the way you're interfacing with the WordPress site. And so on some sites that I have seen and that I've created, the directory is actually visible right from the Wild Apricot site. And in some cases, that's a good thing because people want to perhaps use it from an advertising point of view, or a networking. It's good to see, the other members, and perhaps you can collaborate on some projects. The other I'm just thinking about one of the sites that I created a few years ago was for a community safety organization, and they wanted their member organizations to all be visible so that everybody in the community could see the kind of safety organizations, whether it was boating or Red Cross or that kind of thing, that were all available. And in here you can see the various settings that are available that can be tweaked to to suit the needs of any specific organization. So this system that we're using, Wild Apricot, is called Software as a Service, SaaS, and it's a very effective way of getting a really robust solution for a monthly subscription fee. So if the way I came across Wild Apricot in 2007 was that I was looking for a database solution for an online project. And at that point, Wild Apricot was only a year old, so that was quite new then. And I was so happy to find that this solution was available for really a nominal monthly fee, as opposed to the massive dollar figures that I was being quoted to create a customized system. So I like the way that this is structured. So this has brought me over to, sorry, let me just step back here. I clicked on import, and this is giving me the opportunity, if I wanted, as I'm setting up the system right in the beginning, this would give me the opportunity to import members. Or if you, for example, if you were to happen to merge with another section of your organization, you could import a list of, from an Excel document, you could import a list of new members. And member emails over here, this is giving you the opportunity to have the system will be sending these emails automatically. So when an application is started, the applicant receives the email, and also the organization admin, which is Gail, would also receive a copy so that everybody knows what's going on. And this information that's inside the email can be tweaked. So if we click on edit, this is going to bring us up into the same sort of edit mode that we saw with the newsletter composition, where you have the opportunity to add in files and links and what have you, and make it useful for the person, just with the appropriate content. You can also use the macros that we've looked at before. So this is the list of macros that's available here that you can choose. So you don't have to actually type this in. You just really are selecting it, the piece that you want, and then insert macro. And that's really nice for consistency, and also for the fact that it's reliable information. When you have first set up the system, um, as I mentioned, the organization name is entered one time, and then every time you need to use it in your correspondence, you can just use the macro for organization name, for example. That's a great example. If we go back so all of these can be customized from the point of view of content, the frequency. Let's just look at this reminder. So for example, if we are getting close to renewal time, this is a friendly reminder that your membership and then the full organization name would be in the email, is about to expire on, and it would pull in the membership renewal date. And again, this is system driven, so that it's not a person having to remember to do this, which is why really this is such a genius system, to be able to trust that your membership is being managed in this really elegant way. And so these reminders can be customized as far as the content and how many days. So you might get a reminder 30 days, and it might be 10 days prior to the expiry, and then you can just tweak that as far as how many days. And then on the actual renewal day is another, and this would only go out if the renewal hadn't taken place. So if the renewal had happened, then the system would know that this has been renewed, and it's not necessary to send out this renewal reminder. And then again over here in these, on the third column over here, we have renewal pending, meaning it's been initiated, but the payment has not yet been received, and a confirmation of renewal. So let's have a look at that one. And this is telling the member that your profile is here, membership status, and then the next renewal date, so that it's projecting forward, so that they can see themselves where they're up to and can keep an eye on their own membership. I think in your case, because yours are due, your updates for renewal are due on the 1st of January, then everybody would know that it's a calendar year that you have your membership for. Back over to contacts, I mentioned that every person that's in the system has a record, whether they are a contact or a member. And so here we saw that we had 107 members and 181 contacts, so that there are people in here who are not members. And how we can find them is lots of different ways to search. If we knew a person's name, for example, say we knew that someone was in here, Leslie, then we can easily search by that criteria for her last name. And if we wanted to do a more advanced search, we can come in here and use any number of criteria, and also choose from any searches that have been saved previously, such as board members, and different districts and prospects. So if we wanted to see a list of all the prospects, we could click on that and easily generate that list. If we wanted to add criteria, that's where we could do it in here, is to come in and choose from any of these options that are available. And some are event related, some are membership related, and you can choose as many as you want to pare down the list that's going to be returned to you in the results of that search. Back to, excuse me, the list again. I mentioned also that it is alphabetical. In the beginning, you're going to be able to see the first 50, and in this case, the screens have expanded so that we can step through them. And in this case, there would be 4 screens of information. But it makes it very nice, again, if for an admin to be able to scroll through and have a look at the memberships and the types of members we have here and the categories of folks that you might be looking to communicate with. So advanced and saved search import is the same idea that you can import from an Excel document. If you have a large quantity of new people, it's very efficient to be able to bring in new people via that method. And common fields are the opportunity to customize any of the database fields, and we have looked at this prior, but you can add a new field in here, the same technique that we just looked at previously, and you can also make them required by adding the red asterisk and just customize it so that you're only gathering the information that's pertinent to you, so that you're not having any more information than you need, and it makes it easy to manage because it's meaningful data for you then. The backbone of this entire system is the contact database, which is used both for managing all contacts and managing the members. And the membership is the reason that you are using it, for being able to track member levels, member participation, when memberships are due for renewal, and also for people to be able to register for events, so that it makes it a very nice, tidy system to have all of this information in one place, so that you can actually monitor the level of engagement from the various members, and also promote all of the different activities that you have going on. I've seen on your website that you have lots of activities posted, and it's an evolving organization. So I know that most organizations are always looking to grow, and so this is a nice feature to have this available, so that people can share with other people, to other potential members, to send them to the join page on your VPC website, and then this is where they will be able to come down and make the application that we saw on the PDF file that I started out with. Now, as I mentioned, because I'm logged into this presentation as Gail, it's showing that I'm already a member, and that's why we're not seeing that membership opportunity. But the details of membership are, and how membership can take place, are all available on the on that join page, so that you've got a lot of one place, one-stop shop really for everything to go along with your membership, including renewal, and then your own profile that would be visible to you here. So back over to members. I think I have actually covered everything that I wanted to, and I'm just wondering, Gail, if you have any questions on any of that for me, or if anybody else might have questions.
I think you've pretty much covered it.
Okay.
I'm not sure that to those who are listening, I'm not sure that our chat box is working. Um, I still need to get some help with that. But if it is working and you want to try to submit a question, now would be the time. Or if you would like to email me a question that I could pass along, you can send that to gail.kent at thebuzzfactory.com. And factory is with two E's rather than a Y. How about, let me ask you this while we're waiting,
Mm-hmm.
Lynn. Is it possible to send an email with the criteria that you are looking for people within certain geographical areas, such as you want to pull out everyone from a certain city or set of cities?
Yes, I believe so. Let's have a look at that. So if we have members and list, and if we go advanced search, we could say city, contact type contains city, business city. Is there, can you think of a city name, Gail, that I could put in here as a test?
Okay, let's try Newport News. Virginia Beach,
One more,
Norfolk,
Norfolk. Okay, so if we do city test and save that, and then search. Records found, business city. Now, is it possible they could be home city? In your case, I think, do you have, does everybody, I don't think everybody completes a business address. Is that correct?
um, most people
Like where
do.
most people do? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm surprised I'm not seeing anything for, because I know that you're in Newport News, so
Yes.
we should at least be seeing you. Let me just go back to the list for a moment. And no, just look and see how that's, just depends on how the information has been, which field it's in. I think that's what I wanted to say, is that on the contact information, it would be down here where we look at, okay, so we do have business city as Newport News, which is very interesting why we are not getting saved searches then. Back here, saved searches, city test run. City, business city contains Newport News. That shouldn't, having is and contains shouldn't really make a difference because it's exact. I'm going to investigate that, Gail, because that, to me, that should be bringing up the city, the members with business city equal to Newport News, and we absolutely know that yours is correct in there. So I will investigate that, and we'll have to get back to you on why that is not behaving as we expected.
Okay. I was also wondering about the people who are in our prospect list. For example, in order to promote our event coming up, which is a local event, if there are people in the prospect file that might be interested in coming to the local event we're having in Virginia Beach, if I could put all the local cities in it and then pull them out and send them an email just to them, then it would be very helpful.
Okay. I am going to.
We have everyone who is a member categorized, as Eastern, um, Western, Central, or Northern, but we don't have our prospects categorized.
Mm,
So that's the reason I was asking.
okay. Hmm. I have to invest, but that is not bringing up anything either under Business City contains Newport News, which it should. Let's go to simple search. All non-members, 74 non-members. Okay. That is just not that is not behaving the way I expect, and I'd have to look at the configuration of the fields, the membership fields, which can
Okay.
be customized. So on here, we are looking at this one, membership fields. And in here, I'd have to look at the configuration. I think it's something in here. Um, these are supposed to be the default built into the back end of Wild Apricot. But I noticed that, yeah, let me look at that, Gail. I'd like to investigate what's in the background, if you know what I
Okay.
mean, what's going on actually in the background of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Um, could you also show how you move members from one, um, I
One
guess,
category, one
yes.
membership level,
Are
yes.
they lapsed or are they suspended or what should you call them?
Um, well, if in this case, for example, I created this new member record this morning as a student, and they are currently active now. There's a couple of ways. You do have this opportunity to suspend. There is the opportunity to archive, and we have also the opportunity to edit. So it depends on the order of operation that you have as far as when you would use suspension. And if someone moved, say, from student to professional, you would just click on professional and then save it, and it would upgrade, although there would be an additional fee in that change. If it was lapsed and we wanted to change it from active to lapsed, then we can do that by doing those two things there and then click on save.
Okay, but what about once they are not paying? What is the difference between all those other categories?
Um, Suspension is something that you are saying, okay, you're suspended and not in this system. If I let me just cancel from here, and if I archive this, it will go into the archive of the it would still be available if someone was a student, for example, and they were a student for the summer and then they were going to go away and potentially could come back next year. You might rather archive this record so that it goes off your list of your active records. And then next year, when the person comes back, you could resurrect it as opposed to having a new record for that student. And then that way you would have the history going from year to year. You know, if you have a student that's coming for 3 years, for example, you can turn them on and off again if that is something that you'd like to do. If you have a system where you wanted just to suspend someone, you can literally do that, and that's instant. And you are just going to, I don't believe that you can restore from the point of view of in the same way that you can with archive. And that would, again, it's kind of an order of operation as far as how you want to manage the opportunities that you've got for making making memberships live, or making them in the either archive, suspended, or lapsed mode.
Okay, so
And
suspended.
lapsed just means that they haven't paid yet. Is that correct, Gail? For their membership fee has lapsed and they haven't renewed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, suspension is deleting them.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. Archive, you can get the people back.
Okay.
Yeah. And the various category changes are possible in here. So the membership levels can be changed in here. And
Okay.
when a person does submit the application, the first thing that happens is that it does need to be approved. It isn't an automatic thing. It needs to be activated by. So when someone goes to the Join VPC website and fills out their application from here, then it would go to the administrator, and it would need someone to actually activate that, which safeguards in a way, and that's a setting that can be turned on and off, but it's a toggle that safeguards somebody having a record, and it just goes live instantly without any administration on the back end.
Okay.
Okay, so no questions came through, Gail?
No.
No.
Does anyone else have a thought? You want to email me quickly? Or if you want to text me, I just got a text comment. You can do so at 876-5420. We have time. If you would like, you can also text a question about one of the other presentations that Lynn made on events or newsletters, if you have a follow-up question. This presentation didn't take quite as long as we thought, so there's time for that too. The comment that was texted to me was was from Pam Jewell. She said, "I think that you're looking for Newport News and the Central group." And what I had texted back was that I thought that what we were doing should override that process.
Yeah, and I think, how can I show you this? If I go into here, see how this is. Let me go back. No, add criteria. The city is a system setting in the back end of this Wild Apricot platform. So city, state, they are system. And because this has been renamed to business city, I just wonder if there isn't something that's conflicting somewhere in its, behind the scene brain, if you will, where we're telling it to look for business city, but in the back end, it thinks it's looking for just city. So that's kind of what I want to investigate, because it should be as simple as that. If we add a criteria, let's say first name, and we say the first name contains Gail, and search. Ooh, see, that's just not good. That should be it should be as simple as putting the first name in. So I would like to do some testing to see what's going on behind the scenes here, because yeah, that's not behaving, obviously is not behaving. It should be a simple thing to say first name contains, and then put, first name, even if we put first name contains G, it should bring up everybody that has a name that contains G, and we're getting 0 results. So this is very unusual. So it's very unusual to have that. It's not this is not complicated what we're asking it to do. So I do think that we need to have a look at what's happening behind to see why that isn't being found. So I'm sorry to end on this note. That's not very good, because everything else is working so well.
Okay. Well, certainly not your fault. You didn't.
No, but I'm just trying to imagine why it's not. So I have to look at the back. I have to look at this sort of configuration behind the scenes, really, if you will, to see
Okay.
why it's behaving that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate that, Lynn.